What's up YouTube, Demi here with the Demi Splains on how to fill out your atlas. As you can see, I have 159% completion and we are in Softcore Dev League. I got this full completion about day 5 of the league, so I just want to walk you through how you actually manage to do that. Right? So a lot of people are getting confused as to like what they should be doing to fill out their atlas, where they should start, what kind of techniques they should use. So we're going to go through all of that, starting with how the atlas actually works. So if you have, assume you have 0 completed on the atlas, the way that a map will drop is you'll start getting map drops around level, say, I think it's 55 to 60 plus in the normal act zones. So like once you hit probably act 8 or so, you'll start seeing map drops occasionally. They'll just be T1 maps. And that'll give you dungeon, graveyard, lookout, and beach, right? So you're going to want to do that farm, just like farm blood aqueducts, farm whatever it might be, until you achieve one of each of those. And the reason for that is once you complete a map, it'll like try to drop that map always. It's really weird. Like for example, if I was trying to, let's say I had only a tier 4 map completed and I was running a tier 4 grotto. This was my one map I had completed. If I ran a grotto, it would most likely drop grotto as a T4. And then as a T5 connected map, you have two options. It'll try to drop channel or it'll try to drop maze, because the atlas always tries to drop whatever's connected unless you have another one completed. So if I'm running up to tier 4s, again, example, this is my tier 4, I run this over and over and over again, I'm going to get a bunch of these, and I'm going to get a bunch of maze and channels if I have no other T5s. If I were to complete a different tier 5, for example, if I had Ancient City completed over here, and I kept running Grotto, because I have that map completed, it's going to most likely drop this map a lot, which is where people start having issues, because they'll collect a bunch of maps for a tier of a specific tier, but they'll do one of them first. Like say you'll have, I don't know, let's just go to like a T8 map. You did a Infested Valley and you have no other tier 8s, your atlas is going to keep dropping this tier 8 until you get the other maps. So what I would recommend doing is make sure you have one of each of the tier 1s, right? And then you do whatever you need to get them completed. So for white maps, you need to do a magic version. So you just transmute it and then run the map until you get all 4 of these completed, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to farm the tier 1 maps until you have one of each of the connected tier 2s. So you'll farm Dungeon until you get Flooded Mine, you'll farm Graveyard until you get Marshes, you'll farm Lookout until you get Alleyways and Pen. Alright, yeah, those are both T2s, this is Shape. So yeah, you'll do the same thing over here. You'll farm Beach until you get Arid Lake and Desert. And once you get all of the tier 2s, one of each of them, then you'll run them all as Magic. And you're going to repeat this like stepping process, because it's just the easiest way to do it. It'll guarantee that you won't have any issues with like accidentally shaping your atlas for one specific map like we talked about earlier. And then you're going to keep repeating this process until you hit up into yellow maps. With white maps, you should be able to get away with just transmuting them, and then you'll get enough drops eventually. It's going to take a while, this might suck to do, but you can do this all alone without having to buy any maps, right? There's also a tip from XANA. XANA is the most important master of this league if you want to finish your atlas. I mean, she is the map master, that makes sense, right? So she sells maps. Every time you do a daily mission from XANA, she'll reset her inventory. So in the lower tiers, when she's like level 1 or 2, she'll sell tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 white maps. Buy all of them. They cost chance orbs and wisdom scrolls. That's it, right? Just buy them. Maybe some alchemy orbs, whatever it might cost, buy them, and they'll use those to help fill out your atlas. And then when she levels up as well, if she goes from 2 to 3, her inventory will reset again. So you can abuse this to just get a lot of free maps, right? Like these are cheap. I can buy all of these. I'll just do this as an example. I'm going to buy all of these, and then I'm going to do this daily real quick. Just like that, and her inventory is reset. You can use that command to actually skip the daily. I didn't want to do that, but I did it because that's for the video, right? So then you can just buy them all again, repeat this process, right? It's a really easy way to get maps without having to trade with other players. I know a lot of people are struggling with how like annoying it is to trade, right? So going into yellow maps, which is, you know, tier 6 or above, at this point you're going to want to start investing a little bit more into your maps besides just to transmute some alchs or transmute some alts. You're going to actually use an alchemy orb now. So you're going to grab a yellow map and you're going to alch it and try to get something that's like fairly useful. So for an example, you just alch this, look for decent pack size, like anything above, I don't know, 15-20% is fine, and then the highest quantity you can get if you're struggling with drops, right? If you're struggling, invest more into your maps and you'll get better returns. So if I wanted to really invest into this, I could look for like a really high amount of quantity, like 64 quant without quality. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty decent map. It's not super rippy. it could run that and probably get a map return, right? So you're still going to keep doing that same process, get one of each of the maps, and then alk them, and then run all of them in a row so that you have your atlas fully filled out. After that, once you get into red maps, this is where the technique kind of changes again. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to farm your tier 10s until you get one of each tier 11. Same exact thing. Whatever it's connected to, farm that map. So if I'm farming Belfry, it'll drop waterways. Just repeat the process to get all of the tier 11s figured out, right? But for red maps, what you actually need to complete your atlas is you need to kill a corrupted rare version boss to get the extra tick bonus. But there's this thing where if you just do the map when it's not corrupted, you'll still have the ability to drop the map because you've done it on your atlas. So if you're having issues getting 2 of each of the maps, because when you evolve a map, there's a good chance it changes. I don't know if I can make it happen that fast, but when you evolve a map, there's a chance that it goes into a different tier, which means that it'll fuck up your pattern, right? Instead of having one of each, you'll lose one of them. So I would recommend for red maps to get 2 of them before you start voling them. Also, side note, just randomly, when a map goes unID'd like this, it keeps the previous mods that were on it. It just goes unidentified. When you run an unidentified map, you get, I think it's 30% item quantity bonus on the map itself, but the mods do not change. So if you keep an eye on what the mods are before you vol them, it's the same. I'm just trying to like get an example of a map going up a tier, but basically what happens is it'll re-roll the map into a tier higher, or it'll re-roll into an 8 mod map, but it's just like, it happens sometimes. So to avoid that, get 2 of them, or run them once as non-corrupted, just as a regular rare map, so get that completion, and then when you get another one later, you can run it as a corrupted version to get the bonus. You're going to keep repeating that process up the tiers until you hit the tier 16s, and it's the same exact thing. You can run them as a completed, as a rare, just to get the completion, and then later on run them as a corrupted rare, when you can actually beat the boss and you find a good corrupted rare map, right? And that'll fill you out from tiers 1 all the way up to tier 16. When it comes to unique maps, what I did was, because I have a guild and I have like friends and I have a stream, obviously. So what I do is, if I find an expensive map, or if somebody else finds an expensive map, we split the cost. So for example, I believe Parandis Manor was like an Exalt, right? Which was about 90 chaos. There's 6 portals to the map. If you split each portal by split the cost by 6, you were paying about 15 C-ish for like each person to get into the map. So if I had a Parandis Manor, I could bring in 5 other people, they could all pay me their split, right? And then I get the majority of the cost of the map back, as well as the completion. So it's more or less like I'm kind of selling it, and they're all getting completion as well without having to pay the full Exalt price. Everybody wins, we all get completion, and then you all get the map bonus. A lot of these are getting cheaper now. These ones are like, I can't say that you're going to find all of these yourself. Sometimes if you're really lucky, you can get these cards and turn them in to get the maps that you need. But Encroaching Darknesses are fairly rare now, so you're going to probably have to either share maps or buy them yourself from other players. And I know a lot of people hate that aspect, but good news is there is a /global 159. This channel is the map sharing channel. It was made just recently, but there should be a lot of people active. Yeah. So you're more or less able to just go in here and get free completion for maps. If you have something good, then you tell them and they'll come share with you, and you just wait until something that you need pops up. It's going to be a lot of unique maps, a lot of high-end maps, red maps, whatever it might be. And if you want to actually buy the completions instead of just getting it for free, you can go to /trade820. Or sorry, /trade159. Just depends on what you want to do. These guys are selling it in the trade chat, and then the global chats are doing it for free. So it's kind of up to you which one you want to go for, right? What else do I want to say? As you go up a higher tier, you're going to have to invest more and more heavily into what you're trying to roll on the map, right? So for example, white maps, you transmute them, get a magic map. Yellow maps, you're going to alch them until you get some decent stuff, alch scour or whatever. Red maps, you're going to quality them first before you do that. That's what I've been doing, at least. Like the higher tier I go, the more I invest. So these, you'll do quality 20, and then you'll alch. And you'll look for a good pack size and at least 70 plus quant. 70 to 80 quant is like the sweet spot for me. So this is actually a pretty good map. It's got a 90 quant 28 pack size. That's solid. I would definitely keep that. Or if I wanted to go like to a really high tier map, like a T15, I'm going to invest even more into it. So again, 20 quality. See how it has 66 quant? That's pretty bad. So we're going to try that again. 79, that's better. but I can do better than that. And it does cost a little bit more currency. There you go, 101 quant. That's a really good map. Things to look out for, you want to look for monsters have Bloodlines mods or monsters have Nemesis mods. Stuff like that means that you'll have more rares or more magic mobs. Sorry, more magic mobs. And that'll give you more overall sustain as well. Because those mobs, like magic mobs, can drop level 1 higher maps. So in a T15 they would drop T16s. And then the boss of the map, or the rares, no, sorry. The rares can also drop +1s. The bosses can drop +2s, which in this case just becomes a T16 anyway. There's a couple other unique situations, such as the Vol Temple map. This map you have to corrupt a tier 15 map into to get a Vol Temple. It's kind of RNG gated, but you're going to be corrupting your tier 15s anyway to make sure that you get your Atlas completion. So eventually it'll happen. If it doesn't, again, you can do the map sharing thing. You can buy one and split it with your friends, whatever it might be, just so it's cheaper overall. Or you can just follow your T15s until you get it. Is there anything else I want to add to this? Other ways to get maps, there's a lot of div cards that give you a map. You can farm those. I don't know if I have any that are full. There's quite a few different ways. You can get like T14 maps from this, T15 corrupted maps, which give you your Atlas completion, corrupted uniques. There's actually a Vault Temple card you could farm. And there's more of these on the wiki. There's a billion of these on the wiki. And then we have to get into XANA mods. So if you're struggling to get a map to drop, or if you've accidentally shaped your Atlas already, for like, say you've completed only one tier 5 and you have no other tier 5s, and you have a lot of that one tier, what you could do is you could put that into the map device, and with XANA, you can do an alternate map of the same tier, from tiers 1 through 10, so white maps through all the yellow maps. It'll reroll it as a rare map of the same tier that isn't the one that you have placed in the map device. So if I have a bunch of these, I can do this mod, and it only costs a chaos, and it'll give me a different tier 5. So I can use that to fill out my Atlas, right? There's also a higher tier one. If you do this one on a T5 or below map, you can instantly shape it to a higher tier. So I can shape my T5s to T10s if I need tier 10 maps. I can do that. And then also, if you had a higher level XANA that I don't currently have, I believe it's level 7. Yeah, you can shape tiers 6 through 10. So I could make a tier 11 or a tier 15, like tiers 11 to 15 shaped map to help sustain my tier 15s. And it costs, what is it? Is there a price on here? I don't see a price. That's weird, but either way, you can do that, right? You can force the map to be a shaped one. You can also, later on, when you get level 8 XANA, you can just elder a map. For those that don't know, when you complete your XANA missions and you have your 15 shaper memory fragments, you got all your shaper orbs, whatever, you can get an elder orb. Elder orb allows you to upgrade any map on the Atlas up to tier 16. So that last mod, instead of doing that on, you only get one Elder Orb, right? You can do that once, but with XANA on level 8, you can just buy a tier 1 map and Elder it for 15 chaos, I believe is the price. Oh yeah, the prices are down here. No, they're not. I don't know, but it's 15C from what I remember. So, for example, Elder Underground Seas is a favorite right now, and mine's shaped, so I can't get Elder ones myself. But what I can do is I can go to PoE Trade or go to my friends or unshape this and farm the regular version because it's easier to drop lower tier maps. Get a bunch of those, and then just spam the Elder mod from XANA 8 and get a level 16 or tier 16 Elder Underground Sea without having to buy one, without having to farm maps, whatever it might be, right? And then I could just spam the T16 map, get Guardian maps, and sell those. Guardian maps are like, what, 25, 30C at the moment? Probably going to drop soon because of delves and that strategy, but it's possible. So now we get into delve-specific stuff. The deeper you go in the delves, the higher level the monsters become, and the higher level the maps become. I don't know why it's not loading. There it goes. So down here, it's level 75. That's the equivalent of a tier 7 map or so, right? If you push all the way down to depth 270, that would be level 83, which is tier 16. If you can get to 270 and spam for like map rooms, like the abyssal sections have a lot of map fragments or map chests in them, you'll get a bunch of Guardian maps or up to T16 maps, right? So if you're having issues sustaining and you can't do any of the other methods we've talked about, you can just delve. Go to the quarry, which is in Act 8, and there's, oh, wrong place. I believe it's Act 8 or Act 9. It's Act 9, sorry. Act 9, the quarry, right? This is how you generate sulfite without mapping. This zone always has a spawner around the waypoint. So you just go in a circle, there it is, grab it, head back to the waypoint, and make a new instance, and you can farm it again. You just click this, hold control, left click, and you can make a new instance. You can do this for hours and get infinite sulfite without having to invest in new maps. So you can just spam this method to get the sulfite you need. There's another one. Obviously, if you had a faster character, it goes better. But you just kind of keep doing this until you get enough sulfite to do delves. Push your delves deeper and deeper, and then you can just get all the maps you need without ever entering maps. It's kind of good. It's always around the waypoint. We did this last league. It was the exact same strategy for incursion. You could find Alba around this circle. Same strategy this league. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. If I missed anything in this, feel free to let us know in the comments below. Other people read the comments. If you have any strategies that I missed, please comment, let people know, so that there's like this compiled information down there so that everybody can benefit from this, okay? I believe I got most of the methods, but I do hope I do hope that this helps teach people how to do it, because I've seen so many people complaining that they can't sustain maps, and it's just like, it sucks because I want people to enjoy the game, right? All of this is more fun when you can actually complete stuff, and none of this has to do with actually shaping your atlas. I'll link a video below in the description on what to shape or how to shape and why you should shape if you want to. I'm not going for that currently, I just went for full completion. But I think that's it. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to come follow me on Twitch, the links are in the description below this video. And if you want to help support the channel, my Patreon, my merch store, Humble Bundle, if you want to buy games through Humble Bundle, I guess like kickback from that. All the links to support are below the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and that'll be Demi out.